Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Houteri with my colleague Hiba Al-Qahtani. How are you doing today?
Well, we're doing great, and hopefully everyone who's watching us today is going to enjoy, of course, all of the material that we prepared, and especially we're coming to talk more about our guests and all
Definitely,
of the great
yes.
information.
Yes, I'm always thrilled and excited to meet our new guests because they have different stories. Every time they come up with, the different experiences, the memories that they had with their stories, and it's a whole new thing. Every time we get to learn something new. And today, I guess we have this special guest who happens to be also a colleague. So he's been in more than, I guess, three or more,
Yes.
I guess, hobbies, I'd say, or shows. I don't know. I
So
can't explain. It's
someone talented, who
talented,
has a
multi-talented. This is what I wanted to say.
multi-talented person that I'm very sure he's going to inspire everyone,
Yep.
and you'll enjoy watching us, of course. So we're going to know more about our guests. Stay tuned to this.
All right, welcome back, dear viewers, to Untold. And of course, we'd like to welcome you, Mr. Muhammed AlKathemi, for being here with us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you here. So, first of all, of course, before we get started and get to talk more about yourself and the stories behind and the untold story of yourself, let's talk about your early days, the beginnings. Like, how did you develop the artistic
The beautiful
side?
days.
Yes, all these childhood days, I say.
Okay. Well, I think it did start from childhood. My first gig was at school actually.
All right.
Yeah, I did a play in French.
Oh wow. Okay, I've done the same, by the way. But
Really?
I forgot almost everything.
Well, we studied French for like a couple of years in high school. So because I have a good accent in English, it helped a lot to pronounce the words.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but I didn't understand anything.
Okay.
I remember like a couple of words, like
Yeah.
chemise.
Oh yeah.
Pantalon. That's it. The accent actually helped.
Wow.
And yeah.
Interesting. So we can see that this kind of thing, let's say, triggered something, which is presenting yourself in that matter of sense. Being an actor is something very difficult and challenging, and I'm very sure that you've faced it during your career. So when it comes into the beginning, talking about that precise moment, didn't you feel like this kind of, let's say, trying to find the courage and standing and presenting yourself in front of an audience, though it was, let's say, school environment,
Yes.
and everyone is, let's say, in a way more of a, let's say, friendly, but yet again it's an audience.
Well, I actually went to a public school, so the audience wasn't that nice.
Yeah,
So
tough audience.
yeah. So if I know if I do this and fail, I'm gonna be bullied for the rest of the year, and that was like early mid-year. So yeah, I had a whole semester to be afraid of.
Yeah.
So if I flop here, I'm gonna be bullied till the end of the year, probably till the end of high school. And I was like one of the popular kids back then. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to lose my space here.
Did you take the risk?
I actually did. And what made me happy isn't that they took it nicely. It was the rush before going on stage. That when your heart
Adrenaline.
beats a lot and then the adrenaline that kicks in. That was nice.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest days, and of course, definitely, I've had similar experience, but it went well, thank God. So basically, we all know Muhammad AlKathemi from voice acting,
Yes.
acting, and also stand-up comedian.
Yes, I actually do
So
stand-up comedy.
all these three things, and you got additional hobbies.
Yeah, I had my fair share of jumping around from being an anchor for a TV host or any.
But
It was fun.
as for these three main things, which one came first?
Actually, voice acting came first because, as I told you earlier, when I discovered that I can pronounce a lot of accents, that triggered like a thing in my head, like a small fuse that was like, okay, I think I'm good at this, and I'm good at imitation too. So why not try to use that for fun? And then, fun develops into a hobby. Hobby goes into like, getting paid. And that's how it rolled.
And I guess it's easier than being, I would say, a stand-up comedian or an actor because you don't get to face the cameras or the
Yes,
people,
it
right?
is.
The fear
It's,
of camera and the audience is something else. I really would like to get to into that later on.
yeah, it is actually. Behind the mic, you're alone. You're like in a recording booth. It's just you and the guy who's like,
So it's okay to
pushing
do
the buttons.
mistakes. Yeah, it's okay.
Always, there's always a replay. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like on camera, you have a crew of 15 people or 20, and you have the actors around you, and you're sweating, and you shouldn't sweat. And it's a whole different environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes into presenting yourself through the voice, I mean, to me, it's very challenging because I do believe that it's a talent. In order for you to have that kind of, let's say, connection between you and the audience, people who cannot, let's say, see you, just listen to you. So it's very, let's say, challenging in a way, but yet again, it could be something very easy, as you just said and highlighted. But what I want to ask you is, do you believe that this thing is actually found within the person because it could be a talent? Or because it's something that you actually, let's say, found passion in the beginning?
Well, I know a lot of stories. I mean, my story is like, I guess, different because I fell in love with cartoons and specifically Adnan Alina.
All right.
Yeah, and then from that cartoon, I was like, I want to do that. And then when I discovered that Captain Namak was actually Jassim Nabhan, I was like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
How? His voice is like, this is impossible. And then I went and tried to do it without reading a book, without any guidance, nothing. And then what happened was I found out that, when you press a certain vein over here or like
Right.
try to high pitch over here, you can change your voice like dramatically. And then, you know, it's like a domino effect. You just learn by going. A lot of people actually went into, let's say, seminars and they had mentors to like take care of them and don't do that. You'll like cut your voice here and then don't do that. You will have an injury in your throat. No, I wasn't that guy at all. I was like
So you,
all
you
in.
did all that by yourself.
Yeah, because well, it was the early days. We had dial-up. We had something called YouTube. It was something called YouTube. It's not that YouTube we have right now. But, did it hurt? Well, it did hurt because I lost my voice for for a week that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more of a journey that you actually had.
it
and
was
you
fun.
enjoyed.
When I look back now, I'm like, well, I did all of this by myself, no help. So it's kind of a proud moment.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And it leaves a like, beautiful experience and a story to tell.
Of
And with that
course.
said, also, so now you have mentioned the voice acting story. Let's jump and talk about the which one would you talk about first, acting or the
So
comedian?
you want to?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I
We're
did.
story
I did.
for each.
I did voice acting, and then I did stand-up comedy.
Our stand-up comedy.
We're talking 2010, most
All right.
likely. I started doing like small gigs. How I discovered that I can do it is actually funny.
Tell us the story, please.
I was talking to my friends, and we were like in a fast food joint in Jabriya,
All right.
and me as a kid, I was like this guy who stands up and like go like the guy just walked in, and then I do the voices of the like the effects,
Yeah.
Sound effects.
and the guy was like, dude, you're doing stand-up comedy, right? I was like, what is stand-up comedy?
But it's not about like sound effects.
No,
only.
it's not about that.
You
But
need to
it's
be-
like the way I presented the story to him was,
It was
Like stand-up
common,
comedy.
like
similar
stand-up
to-
comedy
yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
was like, he was actually older than me. He was my friend's older brother. He was like, and he was Egyptian, British,
Uh-huh.
All right.
and I still remember how he said it. You're doing stand-up comedy, right?
Okay.
I'm like, what is stand-up comedy? What is stand-up comedy? Well, like, you're the guys who like, a mic and then a small place and like, okay.
All right. So you had to look it up.
It's not enough you're talking British and now you're telling me this. So we went back to their place and they showed me a couple of stand-up comedians. I was like, wow, I think I can do that. And it started from here. And then in 2010 there was the scene of there was a lot of exhibitions. Remember those, like
Yeah, yeah.
outdoor events? And there was this small stage with a talent show and an open mic one day, and I was like, you know what, I might do one thing. I might do it. So I went on stage and I was like, "What's your talent?" So I was like, "I think I can make you laugh, guys." So I started cracking jokes, and people liked it, and
That's nice. It did go well.
it
At
went
least,
well,
yeah.
actually, yeah, because it was at college, and I know my way around college. Some material I said was basically relative to all the people that were attending.
So you guys actually have to prepare a script. It's not like
Not that
improvising.
day, I didn't.
Improvisation.
But like after that, yes, when I learned that you need to be prepared, you need to write your own jokes, you need to be like fast because there's a lot of hecklers sometimes. Not all, let's face it, not everyone will like you when you go
Not
on
everyone will
stage.
laugh,
Yeah,
maybe. So
and because sometimes people want to be smart and like heckle you. So you have to be smart enough to like either have a great comeback and just
yeah,
shut
I've
them
seen
down.
so many videos on social media when the comedians they got a counterattack. You know,
You have to.
they get attacked and then
You have to shut them
yes,
down like
and
pow.
those are the best moments, to be honest.
Yeah, they are because they're improvised.
Yes.
This is all about stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like this. I mean, I always say as a comedian, my best food is hecklers because I suffered the ones from them.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the thing is, people say that if you're a stand-up comedian, that means that you necessarily have to be really, let's say, funny in real life. But so the question is, do you believe that working as a stand-up, let's say in a stand-up comedy show, do actually has to be necessary that the person that is dealing with the mic and the audience should be a very funny person in life,
Yes,
or it could be vice versa?
Yeah. You can't be like not funny and then just grab the mic and shred.
Really?
No, I don't think so. If there is someone like that, that's this guy. He got to be a phenomenon. I'll be like, ooh, that's new.
So I think it's
he keeps his comedy to himself.
yeah, hiding it from
That's
the
evil.
people, hiding it from everyone. Can you imagine a person being that?
Yeah, is that right?
Unless he's a witch, I'll be hiding it to myself until I reveal it. Probably something
imagine?
like that.
But like, Mohammed, were you inspired by someone since you watched like a couple of
yeah.
videos? Yeah.
Yeah, all the oldies. Eddie Murphy, Louis C.K. Me myself, I actually fall down between two comics. I'm between Russell Peters and Louis kind of thing because I have this comeback because when you see Russell Peters, his material actually is about talking to the audience.
Yes.
I don't talk to I like the audience is not my go-to, but I learned that my splash zone has no ending. I mean, a lot of comedians, their splash zone is like the first 3 or 4 rows. I go back all the way to the last row of this. If you laugh and your laugh is not okay, I'm gonna tell you about it. So, and Louis C.K., it's like this. There's this thin line of boundaries that I don't cross, but I look like I'm crossing it. And then when you come to me, you're like, you kind of offended. I didn't say anything.
I mean, this was the excuse for stand-up comedians. Like, I didn't say anything. It was just there,
Yeah,
That
he
kind
was
of,
there.
yeah.
I'm going to talk about it.
Definitely.
I mean, it's a topic. It's on the table. I just spoke about it on the mic.
Yeah.
So why do you feel offended? So in that kind of sense, dealing with audience is something very challenging, especially when you're a stand-up comedian.
yes.
You have this kind of, let's say, audience that they come, just sit and try not to laugh. Did you
mean,
face that? Did you
oh,
face
yeah,
that?
oh,
I
one?
think
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I always tell them, you came here, paid a lot of money, and you don't want to laugh. Okay, well, I guess that's good money for us. Pay up. I mean, he paid. He sat there.
And they just decide to not laugh.
You don't want to
To
participate.
ruin your day.
And like there's like a couple hundred people having a great time and you're not having it. I mean, so your day must be really awful.
But you guys get through it anyway.
Of course,
But
yeah.
no, like regarding payment, do you actually remember the very first paid job?
Oh yeah, I do.
What was it?
It was a voiceover.
Yeah, that, obviously because that was the very first.
Yeah, it was a
thing
voiceover. I forgot for who though. but it was about 25 KD.
It was
I had a
good,
time of
guess.
my life with these 25 KD. I went to Aqua Park. It was fun. I remember my first paid play though.
All right.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was called Horror in Failaka. That's the translation.
All right.
All right. It
رعب
was
في
Failaka.
فيلك. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like I was playing an Egyptian.
All right.
Yeah. And I had to like switch accents to Egyptian.
Oh, you were
My
good at
Egyptian
that.
is like flawless. So I remember Abdurrahman Al-Aql was there, Sar Sharrah was there, Khalid Al-Mafidi, Fahad Al-Bannai, Fawaz Al-Shatti. It was a great cast. And I was a nobody back then.
So it was your first?
It was my first play. I was a nobody. And then we were like a couple of like small upcoming actors, me and a guy called Saad Awal. And we were like seriously no one. And the accent just helped out a lot because, I mean, you're doing it. It was fun. I got paid 20 KD a show and I did 15. So they paid me in cash.
Every show?
Every show. We did 15 shows and it was 20 KD, like a piece.
A good experience and good memory, I guess.
Oh God, yes. I bought a new laptop.
That's the most
This is-
important thing.
yes.
That he actually remembers what he
This is
bought
why
and
he-
what
Yeah, I
spent.
do
Yeah.
actually. Every time I finish something, I go like, I'm gonna spoil myself.
Yes.
What are you gonna get? A used laptop.
Laptop. So talking about that kind of experience is something very interesting. So comparing between the beginnings and nowadays, I'm very sure there are lots of things that changed. But when it comes into dealing with that kind of sense of, let's say, knowledge, when it comes into your first steps in presenting a voiceover, comparing it towards now, where do you find the things that actually occur to you when it comes into this kind of, let's say, change that happened?
Well, I did a lot of voiceovers, and when you do something constantly, I've been doing it now for like over a decade. You just appreciate the small moments when you started. I was this humble guy who doesn't know how to stand in front of a microphone. Now I can like do it upside down, and it really humbles me that I started from nothing. And I always remind myself that this mic was the opening of a lot of things in my career. So I still actually remember the make of the first mic I spoke into. I remember what I was wearing. I remember who
Maybe the
took
place, the
the
person,
place.
every
Yeah,
single detail.
even the guy who recorded, I still remember, and I'm still in contact with him. Sometimes
nice.
I call him up and I'm like, remember when I was nothing?
Nothing.
No, I called him I think last year, last Eid. I called him up and I was like, hey man, what's up? He's old now. I mean, we started, he was like 30, now he's like 40 something.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, and I was like, hey man, what's up? How are you doing? He was like, hey kid, how you doing? I'm
Hey,
like,
kid.
good. Yeah, because I was a baby. I was like, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. I was like, hey kid, what's up? I was like, I'm good. How are you? How's the kids? And are you grandpa yet?
That joke.
Yeah. And then he was like, what you doing? I was like, I just called you to tell you thank you. And I just finished my 500 voiceover.
Wow, amazing.
MashaAllah, that's quite a
So
lot.
yeah, so I hit the
It all
mark and
started
I
from-
called him and I'm
yeah.
like, just thank you, man.
That's very interesting, actually. So we have got so much. We really would like to know more about you, but first, I guess we have to take this very quick break before we get back and discuss more about your untold stories.
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and we are back. Of course, we have got more questions for you, Mr. Muhammed AlKathemi. So basically, I have got this in mind for all the voice actors, by the way. So I think it's it's an easy job, not easy. Don't get me wrong,
It's
but
actually easy.
easy
It's
to
just
do it.
air you blow out of your mouth.
Yeah, but not everyone have the voice, the tone, and you get my point, right?
You get to learn it. It's easy. It's like you have to color your voice. You have to know the ups and downs, and
Yes,
you're good.
the waves maybe for the sentence, but there is something difficult, I would say, sending the message through emotions.
Oh yeah,
Right?
this is kind of tricky. I mean,
This is the one.
if you want to be like you, I did this amazing job with Mr. Yusuf Al-Bakshi. My dream as a kid, as I told you, I always wanted to do a cartoon, and then I got an offer for a short film called "For the Sake of Yusuf." It's on YouTube, and I got casted as a monster. I was like, okay, that's in my realm. I have the Mortal Kombat voice. So finish him. I can do that.
That's nice.
And then he came in. I was like, "Where's the script?" He's like, "There is no script."
Also, you have to
It's like
improvise.
you're the script.
I'm like, I actually wish he said that. No, I wasn't the script. I was a monster that doesn't speak, and
Okay.
and I have to literally do all of the effects
Yeah.
with no help. So it was a goofy monster that goes on a killing spree, and he's in a dream of another kid. So I'm like, I don't exist. I was in a dream of a kid.
Right.
So that kid was Yusuf. So
Right.
everyone had lines to go with, and the
Except the
emotions are
monster.
written. But me, I had to look at the monster and just
mimic.
imitate
Yeah.
imitate what he's feeling, because he was a man that turns into a monster, and then he's goofy. So he's like,
I'm imagining Taz.
and then he no,
No?
it's not even Taz, bro. He's another thing.
Wow.
have
He's
to
like
see it.
he's like Frankenstein. I'll show you
right.
when we're
Yeah,
done.
sure.
It's like a 5-minute movie, and I was like, I don't know how am I gonna approach this, but if I don't nail this, I don't deserve to be a voice actor. And it was like my mission to like, I'll conquer this.
All right.
But it's
rolled
really
up my sleeves
difficult.
and-
Like, this is what I mean by difficulty, is because you're not just, let's say, you're acting with your voice. So it's not just with words, but with feelings. So can you imagine that you're presenting these kind of feelings to the audience by just listening to it, which is something very
Yeah, it was weird to
challenging.
me because
You never
after all-
act your emotions like. I
Yes.
don't, like you just say it out loud, like it's تعبانة, like I'm tired, but you never say. So
exactly. So I was literally acting as a monster inside the booth, and I like filmed myself, and I saw that. I was like, okay, I look stupid.
I have my daughter Talia. Like when she's really mad, she's like, So when without just let's say
just
me
a,
looking at her, just like, I
she's
immediately know
mad.
that she rubs her hand and like, So yeah, so I mean,
That's the
it's
cutest
really
thing ever.
it's really difficult, but yet to me, it's something else. Like to me, it's a talent for a person to actually master it as you do, which is which actually represents how talented you are. And this is something very great for even the audience, because today, comparing between the days back in the days and nowadays, we can see that's really challenging. We're having AI now. We're having different kind of technologies that's entering the field that could raise the challenge. But having that real emotional feelings and sound and that kind of connection is also important.
I'm not afraid of AI replacing us as actors or voice actors. to be
Even
honest.
presenters, be
But,
careful.
Yeah,
I know.
Even
that's
us,
what-
like
I was-
even you guys. But I'm actually afraid of AI just conquering the world and starting a nuclear war like Skynet and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started with only
Yeah.
chat, but now it can do
It's scary.
many things.
I mean, if of course you guys saw Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Well, Skynet is basically AI,
Yeah.
and it conquered the world, and
Yes,
everything
definitely. Yeah,
became
yeah, yeah.
machines,
That's
and
right.
The Matrix.
It's scary.
Indeed.
we will go extinct.
Hopefully not.
I guess.
But yes,
Looking at it
but
the
you
bright
can
side.
use it for a good cause, and there's not-
Everything has a good cause.
Yeah,
and a
good
bad
and
cause.
bad,
Even
yes.
like the internet when it started back in '98, everybody was like skeptical about it, and then until it was like a good tool, you can use it as a good tool, and then you can use it as a bad tool.
yes, definitely.
You can either be like, even like being a hacker, you can be a good hacker.
Yes,
You can be a bad
the
hacker.
white, the gray, and they have names, so it's,
Yeah. Which is something very interesting at the same
It is,
time. I
it
mean,
is.
people are using ChatGPT for a better cause, which is solving their own problems and homeworks. But yet again, talking more about these kind of developments and people themselves is something very important. Being a voice actor, being, let's say, a stand-up comedian, and then heading towards being on screen.
Yeah.
It's something different. You said at the beginning that talking more about, let's say, acting with your voice is something that you really enjoy
Yes,
and
it
like.
is.
But when it comes into spot camera and everyone, and especially that person that tells you cut, repeat, I didn't feel it yet.
Oh God, yes. Well, my career started with a very good friend of mine, Jasim Mhanna. He's a director. Jasim is basically, we always say that, me and him was like, he's me, but like a newer version because I'm a year older. Yeah, we have the same voice, we have the same thoughts. We have basically we have a lot in common. And we started together. He came back from New Zealand, a fresh director, just graduated from film school, and he was like, "I want to be the new gun in town." And I was like, "I'm your bullets. Let's do this."
That's nice.
So we started doing advertisement together. We used to write together, and then he directs. I'm like his basically on screen tool. It started like from here, and then the avalanche effect just kept going and going until I landed some roles in of course comedy series
Yeah.
like تقدير الاحتياج or a kids series called Calypso. It was always the fun guy or the guy who's the naughty boy or the playboy. So it always had something to do with comedy until the breakthrough came in the movie named Ugh.
Yes.
It's called Brother, and I had to be this guy whose half face like melt down like Harvey
Yeah.
Dent in Batman.
Oh, yes.
So that was the first role that was serious, and I had to like no jokes, man. You can't crack jokes with your half like face melting down. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna joke. I'm gonna joke like off camera. So I had to make fun of my face, and then I did like the first big role for me was in Muhammed Ali Road, the part two.
Part 2.
So I was kind of a comic relief for this show, but still, I had this tiny love
Moments, yeah.
story that was, almost a tragedy because it was like I love someone and they don't love me back. They're like busy, chasing ghosts, and then started from there, and then like a project after a project, and well, I'm like I'm in the soap opera life,
Yeah.
I guess now. So in Kuwait, this is the way to go. I mean, you start small from, let's say, a recording booth or just an actor for advertisement, and then
Yeah, we all
producer.
start somewhere.
Yeah, a producer comes in and be like, "Oh, then you think this guy could work here?" And then I did like a couple of shows later, and then I ended up on like one of the biggest platforms in the world, doing an original for them, which was The Exchange, and that was like the biggest hit of my life. And
Proudest moment. Huh?
yeah, that was the high peak, and then they came back with the numbers, and we were like in shock because, like, yeah, guess what, buddies? 195 million people just saw you worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Congrats.
what, 190 million? He was like, yes, million, brother. So it was a scary moment for us. We were actually translated for 33 different languages. We were dubbed for 7. So if you go on the platform and
Oh, you can switch. We can
you
have
can
that.
see me speaking Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what? And then because there was the demand in India for that, we are actually dubbed in Tamil. I was
Wow.
like, what?
Muhammad is
That's
very
huge.
difficult.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
that's a huge number. So.
Yeah. So we hit actually the top 10 in that platform, and then we slowly went down. Now I think we're stuck on 11th or 12th. So that was actually it was fun, but it was
Yeah.
scary because there's this unseen responsibility
Right.
that no one outside us
Yes.
know it because you guys are actually on TV, so
Yeah.
you know the responsibility that you
Indeed.
get.
What
When
what a
you're on
wonderful
TV.
experience.
It
What a
is. It is.
like,
Oh God, it
and
was
the way you're saying
overwhelming.
it, I can sense how proud and how it's an achievement.
Bro, I
It's a
cried.
lifetime achievement.
I cried. It was scary. It was like 195 million.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
Congrats on that, and
Thank
of
you.
course, we wish you the best of luck for the future projects and all the things that you do with your life. And I guess this leads us, unfortunately, to the end of this episode. I really enjoyed every single minute of it. Yeah, I would like
we
to know
done?
more.
You
Yes,
guys are fun.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Good
maybe
questions, actually.
maybe we can have you for part two. Maybe if it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can
I'm game.
we can do that
I'm
maybe
game.
later. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So yes, that was the end. We will take this very quick break before we wrap the episode. So stay with us, dear viewers. All right, dear viewers. So with that said, we have reached the end of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. It was beautiful. We ran out of time. We hope that we get to see Muhammed AlKathemi again because he got a lot to say. So many stories and proud moments.
Yes,
Beautiful
indeed.
experience.
I mean, we have to have him again because we need to know more about acting career and
Yes.
developing that kind of sense of, let's say, different personalities and perspective. But I'm very sure everyone did enjoy watching us. Don't forget to join us again in different episodes when it comes into the Untold to know more about the story of our guests.
Goodbye.